literally all they're doing is they're putting, I think it's Mid-Journey. They're putting those prompts into Mid-Journey, throwing out the photos, and literally all that people are doing is they're taking those images, putting them into a slideshow basically, and uploading it, and they're raking the views and the subs in.
The younger generation, they've just been given that, and it's easier to use. You're not appreciate to having actually to stuff being done, created for yourself.
But you know, how comforting it will be in like 8 years' time when you've got sitting down with a doctor and you're going, "Did you write your thesis, or did AI write it?"
Hello and welcome to Minecraft Lab, where we delve into all things Minecraft and explore the exciting world of Minecraft content creation, from building and designing tips to the latest Minecraft updates and news. We cover it all. Join us as we chat with some of the top Minecraft creators in the community and learn about their experiences and insights. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, there's something for everyone on our show. So grab your pickaxe and let's get started on our journey into the blocky world of Minecraft.
Miner, that is a very impressive little introduction that you've done there. I'm very impressed.
Yeah, about that. I had ChatGPT write that script for me. I had an AI write that script for me because I'm terrible at writing.
Well,
how fitting.
Yes, how fitting. And finally, we have an introduction.
Yeah, but it's a bit long.
But would you like to tell people why you have done this, Miner?
Well, really, AI or ChatGPT or Mid-Journey or things like that, AI content creation is all the rage right now, and it's controversial, and we like to talk about slightly controversial things. We've got a guest here with us today. I guess he's one of those top Minecraft content creators in the community. So let's just do the introductions. I am Minor Thoughts. We've got the Woodman from Down Under and
Indeed,
the Troge. And with us today is
Blind Cubsy. Hello, how are you doing?
Doing great.
Blind Cubsy, thank you for joining us.
No, pleasure to be, as always.
All of 2 minutes before the before this recording went to air, I went, Cubsy, what are you doing? And he goes, just editing. Why? Do you need a hand? I said, do you want to be on the podcast? And he goes, yeah, sure. He has no idea what we're talking about.
I've actually managed to do some research already, which should be helpful. We'll see.
Excellent.
Right.
Good job.
I'm discovering things every day about AI, and I'm just kind of toying around with it. There's many opinions around using AI for content creation, so we're going to delve into that today.
It's definitely something that if you're on Twitter, you definitely see a lot of the comments coming up. And I'm noticing in my YouTube feed that there's a lot of videos of Family Guy as a 1970s sitcom. And you click on it.
Oh, you've seen that.
And it's like AI generated images. So it's definitely pushing its way into the content sphere. And yes, you're right. On Twitter, opinions are very divided on it all. You've got
it's everywhere, I would say, because you're going through TikToks, Twitters, everywhere. You can find that they're trying to advertise and everything based with AI, which is, I think it's something that they will be going in the future. You know, we will need the players if everything will play itself. But I don't know if you actually know. I actually done the research on that. Do you know there's actually they created artificial intelligence that learned to play in Minecraft by binge watching 70,000 hours of YouTube videos, and it came to the point that now you can even craft create a his AI can go and create a crafting table, craft like diamond armors and stuff like that, which is kind of interesting.
So at what point scary. Then do we as content creators go, take it away, computers?
No one needs us anymore.
Yeah.
I see the community is divided on that. I've seen both sides. There's comments on Twitter that I've seen. Well, it's just it's for lazy people. They just they said write me a script, and it writes a script, or draw me a thumbnail, and it draws a thumbnail. So there's that side of people that say it's just lazy man's tools. Uh, here's my thoughts on it. I think it is a tool, and it is not true. I feel it's not true artificial intelligence yet, because it you still have to give it a prompt. The idea still has to come from your head. The more detailed a prompt you give it, the better the result. So it is still far from being true artificial intelligence. Now, when it gets to the point to where you don't have to prompt it at all and it's just spitting out content for you, is like, you put it to work and say, okay, write or give me 10 good videos, and it just puts it out, no problem, and they trend or they go viral, then that's when we should be scared.
Well, it's sort of technically sort of pushing into there now with like those, Transformers as a 1980s sci-fi, whatever. Because literally all they're doing is they're putting, I think it's Mid-Journey. They're putting those prompts into Mid-Journey. It's throwing out the photos. And literally all that people are doing is they're taking those images, putting them into a slideshow basically and uploading it, and they're raking the views and the subs in. So it's technically sort of already heading that way.
Right.
Yeah, but I think it's with many things. It's like you said, Minor, before. A lot of stuff we use in every single time, and I'm a kind of example which, thanks to Troj, I actually was looking for one of the AI software before to transfer speech into text recently, which Troj helped me with. Which, in a way, I think what we need to establish here: where's the fine line between actual software that doing job for you and actual AI who's doing the job without you having to do anything in it. Because obviously it's a difference between what you said, something that will create it to do it automatically without any knowledge of yourself, or there's something. Well, then even if the software that we've been using to transfer speech to text is actually AI because it's recognizing your voice, or is it just a software? Because you still have to perform, you have to put it there, this to be done. And where's that fine line, and to establish what's actually difference there? What's the difference in it?
That's a really fair point. Like, I know, like with this podcast, when I edit it, I use let's call it an AI program that will actually go through the footage or the sound, and it will cut out all the pauses and a lot of the ums and ers and ahs. It'll do that automatically. Is that AI, as basically Cubsy was saying, or is it just a program that's been trained that if it hears that particular sound or there's silence, just to cut it out?
Exactly, because at the end of that, it's kind of like you could argue a lot there, because you could say, no, it's not making their own decisions because it's just been trained. I love the word that you use there. It's been trained to do that specific the task, which obviously it cannot do anything else apart of that. Do we want to start creating some sort of midterm saying it's a semi-AI or something like that, that he actually, he does it because he's doing it on his own behalf, finding the gaps, but at the same time, it's trained to do that, and it's just it's like a robot more than actual AI.
Right. There's actually a term for it. It's called machine learning, and machine learning is still AI. And the thing people need to realize about these AIs, it's pulling from content, or it's not going back to the beginning of YouTube or content. It's only pulling from, I think some of them said, like for Chat GPT, it's pulling from just 2 years back. But as years go on and people start using this more and more, the machine learning will learn more, and it'll be able to give better results. So we'll get smarter and smarter, but it's still learning at this point.
I threw, just out of curiosity, when you were, obviously I played up a bit for our intro there before, but you told me that you were doing that. And so when you told me what the program was, I went and I had to play with it today. And I asked it a question. I asked it, give me a viral, what did I write? Give me a viral Minecraft video idea. Spat one out, and I sat there and went, give me another. And I did it 10 times. Probably about 7 of them went, yeah. But 3 of them were actually pretty good ideas. And they weren't like any of the trending things. They weren't hardcore. They weren't one chunk or anything like that seemed to be going, the current trends. You just sort of sit there and go, that's actually got potential. So where did it pull that info from?
Right. and I did something similar. I got curious about can it do redstone? Can AI do redstone? And I thought about, if you're watching this, don't steal my idea.
Here we go.
No, the thing is it'd be like a tutorial, and I would be like, I don't like tutorials. But no, I asked AI, a chat GPT, I said, just a simple sentence saying, design a tutorial for a Minecraft sorting system using redstone, and gave me a very detailed script or whatever. But the problem with it I saw is it's only pulling from what it knows about redstone, and it used a lot of hoppers. I'm like, wow, the lag.
But would it work?
Yeah, in a way it would, but I've used it. The things that I'm doing on Interrealms with the Adventurers Guild, I asked it to write me a script for a video, and it came up with. I shared that with you, Troj, and it came up with that. I used it to, I'm just kind of dabbling around with it. I used it to write the lore for the Interrealms clans, and gave it a couple things, said there's an Ocean clan, Cliffs clan, Caves clan. And oh my gosh, it's pretty spot on from the beginning of the season. There's a couple little differences, but I was like, whoa.
So, if it can do something like this, then I know British Weirdo on Twitter is all over this to the point of saying he will never use it in any way, any sort of AI. It's completely against everything in every facet. Where is the line, though? How far, like what you were just describing, Minor, how far have we gone already down the path of it going, we don't need to think for ourselves anymore. We're just going to go to this thing, type in what it says, oh, there's a video idea, and we go make it.
I think it will have limits at the end of the day. I know there's two different ways. And this is what my problem is, because I'm not against it, because I will use it myself. But I've got this problem of, and that's what I said before, where is the line? Where is the line of, is it actually an artificial intelligence, or is it just the software that we're using? Because at the end of the day, even what you're saying, yes, you're right. You have to think, even with redstone, you have to use some of the skills and need to do research itself to find out how to do this, to do it yourself, which, yeah, it's there. But as soon as the task is finished, that's all. You still the operator of that, which it's kind of, I don't know. I'm finding this a little bit bizarre and like fine line, which that's why maybe I've never been like into the artificial intelligence myself. And with a line, I believe that we always have to be someone creative there to make that call, that push. Like you said, you had to ask to do this. You have to come with initial ideas, and then you just technically get in solution in a way.
If someone was to come along, say like a Stevie or whatever Steve or whatever it is, Minor,
yeah,
that channel, right, and just is very content to take ideas, upload them as their own, and get literally millions of subs. Is it a problem then that someone that has no creative flair comes along, grabs this and goes, there's an idea, goes, builds does exactly what the script says, goes to another program and says, spit me out a thumbnail, gets a thumbnail, and goes and gets a couple of thousand? Is it fair?
Yeah. It's I agree with you. It's not fair, because in the same, but it is and it's not. Yes, because from one point of view, you get in someone who might not have any talents whatsoever. He might just use that tools to get him somewhere, when you've got the thousands of people who are actually talented and trying their best, doing everything themselves, and it actually doesn't work because they're not hitting that spot bang on that the AI will actually spot it. But from other point of view, who's actually deserved more? The persons who is clever enough to use the tools that they are around there, or the person who just trying to grind so much but not missing the point by trying to find the sweet spot there. Right. And then you need to establish who actually deserve. If is it right, if it's not right, I think you can look on this from both sides as it being right.
From British Weirdo's perspective of like just a hardline no to everything, I think that is too far. because just saying literally that there's no to any sort of AI, things like this editing software that I use that helps you do this has cut down the editing of a podcast from like 4 hours down to an hour. So saying that there's no use to any sort of AI program, I think is, sorry if you're listening to this, British Reader, I think it's a foolish comment, because at some stage everyone's going to give it a go and go, oh, this has saved time on the workflow. Or like with Cubsy, when you were saying, how do you do the text stuff so quick, the speech to text, how much time did that save? So
yeah, of course.
Things like that, I don't see a problem with it. I guess what I feel is for like artists, as an example, you've got those programs, that AIs out there at the moment that are making artwork out of keywords. And some of those artworks are fantastic. Now, whether they're just pulling different elements from already existing artworks and whacking them together, I don't know how it works. I'm not an artist. Maybe Cubsy is, so maybe he has a thought. But some of those artworks that come out from those AI programs, they are absolutely stunning. They are fantastic.
Right. And the thing with those, like Midjourney, I think is the one that's being used the most, is you have to give it, to get those fantastic art pieces, you have to do very detailed prompts. And then you may have to go through hundreds and hundreds of iterations, tweaking things here and there to get the final result. So there is some work involved. It's not like I give it a couple things in words and it does everything. Or I've tried messing around with the different art AIs, trying to get like an avatar, avatar suggestions, and it just doesn't quite give me what I want. And I don't know if it's because I'm not given a detailed enough description, or if I should use maybe some of the existing art that I already have, things that I've created that I can plug in to have it expand on. But again, I still see these things as sources of inspiration, that it's not, it's a tool, and the tools we get just keep getting better and better. And, for someone to say that I'll never use AI, they're using AI right now, even before all this came out. All AI is complex algorithms. If you're on YouTube, if you're making YouTube videos, you're dealing with those algorithms, and it just things are just getting exponentially better and better each day as people use these.
Yeah, I completely agree. Obviously, coming back first to the art things, the problem is that I think it's a fantastic thing, and I completely agree with you, Miner. The problem is when you go into any sort of like shorts or TikTok videos and stuff like this, when you go into and you've seen people just to type in a couple of words and then there's like beautiful picture popping up, it's impossible. You have to get this, but obviously this is kind of like how you attract people to get to use it. But there's in my opinion, because I've experienced this myself, because I've seen it, I was like, let's give it a go. I did it in the first go and I was like, this is pretty bad. But then you're right. If the AI is a tool. It's a powerful tool if you know how to use it. And again, you're completely right. If people thinking to turn around saying like, no, I'm completely against, I'm not using it, that's wrong. That's not true, because you're using it every single time. Whatever you're doing, whatever you're playing a game, whatever you're using your software to edit and stuff, is everywhere. In a small, bigger, or tiny bit. Simple things, even in the games. We play in Minecraft all the time. Even simple creatures like villagers, they do have to get installed some sort of AI that they know what to do, how to act. It's a day, it's a night. They need to know how to do it, where to run, where is it. It is software installed in there and they behave it, but it's sort of AI in there. And this is the thing, the different versions, or would say levels of AI are everywhere around us in the software we use and whatever we use in the phones, in the algorithm of YouTube, it's everywhere, and it's impossible to not use it. If you want to actually not use it and not be a part of it, you would completely have to cut yourself off from the whole technology.
Right. And speaking of villagers in Minecraft, there are people trying to get ChatGPT to write a script for Minecraft that you can carry on conversations with villagers. Intelligent conversations.
Wow.
You can almost already do that with some of the mods out there, like with the role-playing NPCs and that. But it follows a very structured tree layout, basically. Of yes, no, blah blah blah. So you can sort of do stuff like that. But I guess sort of bringing it back to the content creation sphere, that's probably where people like British Weirdo, I think, are having probably the greatest problems with it, is feeling like it's taking the creativeness away, being a content creator, like giving people the ability to not flex their creative muscle. I guess my argument to that is you've always had that anyway. You've got people that come along and take schematics and pass them off as, hey, I've built this myself, sort of thing. Same thing. They're not creative. They just take a build, change it a little bit, say, hey, it's mine, and take the pats on the back, as I've been very vocal about in the past on this podcast about that sort of stuff. So I guess it's always been prevalent that you're always going to have those people that aren't naturally creative trying to be creative or pass them off as creative.
Right.
And I sort of tend to agree these are just tools, and they're not going to go away.
I did make one comment on Twitter in this discussion. Artists are worried. They're worried, and they have a right to be, that people can use these things and pass them off as, well, these are original works for me. I made the comment that we've got the pictures that you take on your phone, right? They've got metadata. They can, if you got it turned on, it'll tell you, date, time, location, things like that. Why couldn't you just embed something within images that are generated through AI, Midjourney, whatever? And it might be something that becomes a rule that it's like a watermark. So when someone goes to view this or use this, it'll say created by AI. In that way they couldn't pass it off as, this was totally drawn by me. But
is there an argument though that if I come along and I know how to use the AI better than Bob, and I know how to get it to make a creative picture that looks better than what Bob can do, does that not make it my picture because I was able to use that tool to create that picture better than anybody else?
In a way, yeah. And I'm saying that from point of view of person creating quite a lot of art myself, and quite a lot of my art. And to be fair, if one of you will turn around to me today or tomorrow and said that, look at that, you've done this, and I've done this literally within 5 minutes working on my AI, I'll be like, kudos, go for it, mate, because you clearly, I'm out of business. But it is what it is. And I think it's one of the things we can't stop, in my opinion. And would I be upset if I would realize that something? No, I would not be, because it's natural. I'm just the create. I've got as much creativity I can have, and I can be better and better by learning. And I get what you're saying, that it's getting to the point to look realistic and this and that. But I strongly believe, and I've seen so many different creation of AI and like art creation and stuff, and they are beautiful. But I will tell you one thing, that will ever, at least for now, maybe in the future, give a couple of years. Obviously, technology going so fast ahead that it might change within a year, 2 years. But I think you can still see a difference a little bit. You can see that human touch between different arts, and that's my opinion, and that's how I've seen it so far. And on that, I'm pretty sure you will go find 2 different pictures and show it to me. I might be wrong, and I might actually said that the one which is being done by AI is done by human. Fair enough, but at the same time, I think the creativity there, it's still on the human side, and I will support that.
So,
right.
Do either of you know how they work? Like, did they just pull elements from other artwork, or do they create?
I think it's working a little bit of both. They take in, if I'm correct, they take in the image that they're looking for, the sort of example of that, and they trying to manipulate that and in add up to the existing picture that they're looking for.
It's like kind of like a deep fake. If you know what a deep fake is,
yeah.
It's where you can someone else's face or whatever. I've seen it used to make the show Breaking Bad look like Pixar, and all it is taking all these images. Let's just say like a deep fake that would make Troge look like Tom Cruise.
That'd be a step down, wouldn't it?
Anyway, you would have to pull from all different angles of Tom Cruise and then also map all the different expressions from Troge to get it to look flawless. Now, the problem with, to expand on this, what Cubsy was saying is there you can still tell. There's always been this thing in filmmaking called or CGI called the uncanny valley, where it just something looks off to your eye. They're trying to do de-aging and stuff with movies and things like that, to where it's off. There's something about it that's off. With the stuff that I've toyed around with Chat GPT and Midjourney and different things like that, it still looks off. Chat GPT tends to repeat a lot. And then there's just things you can notice about artwork that you're like, that looks computer generated.
Which and I'm guessing, as going back to originally of what we said, that it's not simple thing by putting 2-3 words and it getting beautiful picture. It's getting correct description and what you want and stuff. But you're right, because when it's taking an image or like reference, it doesn't have the reference of mapped of all objects. You've got just the reference of the flat object, flat picture of it, which obviously when it starts to get into any sort of dimensions and stuff like that, that's where you can start to feeling that it's off, it's a little bit different, it's not working as well. And that's what I found. And that's why I think, due to creativity, yes, maybe if you'll put someone great, someone who's very talented and put behind us. There's, I don't know if I think is you've heard. Josh, you will hear it because it's closer to your area. Jazza.
Yes.
Did you hear it? Yeah, you
oh yeah.
Jazza is the guy who's doing the art, and he actually done a couple of them. And even the guy who's extremely talented, and he's got so much talent into drawing, painting, doing everything art related. His stuff looked good, but it's still, even if you use the AI filters and stuff like that, it wasn't still perfect, and you could tell difference that it's not something that would be drawn by human hand.
And there are things that those programs still get wrong, like an eye that's just off, or a hand with too many fingers, things like that.
Which I can say, the artists can sleep, safe. There's nothing to worry about, at least for the next couple of years.
I think that's probably true. Sort of bringing it back to content creation. You can go into that chat program, whatever it's called. Sorry, I can't remember what it's called at this time of night.
Chat GPT.
Thank you. You can still get a script that might be a good video, but it still requires you to make it. Just because you've got a script that is a good script doesn't mean you can make a good video from it.
Oh yeah, of course.
As we know, the three of us here have been at this for 2-3 years now, and we're still learning the process. So someone's going to come along and pick up this script. They're going to be at the start of their content creation journey. It may still be a terrible video. It may not.
Yeah, of course.
May not.
It's like with footballers. Give the best shoes to terrible footballer. That will not make him Ronaldo. At the end of the day, it's simple as that. And you're right. You can. It's a tool. That's why we said that many times. And I think that's the main conclusion from this. AI is a fantastic tool if it's used correctly, and you learn how to use it. And yeah, it can be helpful for everybody. I remember when the first time coming back to editing. When the first time I was doing one of the edits and I was trying to do the text on the video and stuff, it took me ages because I was doing everything manually. And one by one, to the point I was like, this is too much. It's taking an extra day, sitting 8 hours just to do the silly text. And it is not always perfect because time and stuff. Obviously, AI, that speech to text, it's not perfect, but it's saving so much time. You're getting everything ready and you can just adjust it. Which is work of 8-hour days, it's going literally like to maybe half an hour on a long video.
Well, no, on these massive difference using the AI program, it literally a third of time that it was when we first started to editing it now, it's at least saving 2 hours an edit easily.
Yeah,
just taking the gaps and the out. You've still got to go and you've got to adjust it and you got to do your sound.
Yeah, of course, it will not be perfect.
It won't be perfect. That's right. So I wouldn't say I could take this raw footage, drop it into that program, and then we've got a we've got a podcast ready to go out. So you're right, it's a tool.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's still, you still need that human there to finish the project, to sort of like smooth it out and, you know, polish that diamond to be perfect at the end of the day.
Yeah, and you know, look, no doubt you're going to definitely have people that are going to use it and go, hey, we can go make a YouTube video now, and you know, British Weirdos probably, and people like that are voicing similar thoughts are probably correct. You know, you're probably going to have a lot more people coming in. Doesn't mean they're going to have success though.
That's very true. What you found? You look like you've been searching for something.
Yeah, I was going to
What do
say,
you want to tell us?
what's he found?
I'm writing an outro for this episode using
All right.
ChatGPT.
While we're speaking, you know, at this point you have to say it's not you that are writing it; it's your AI program that writing it. That's a bit different. Yeah. Don't take a credit.
Yeah,
Oh, I won't.
But no, I don't think content creators are in any risk just yet of being replaced by computers. Not that the three of us are massive creators. We're still learning, but you know, I think the bigger ones are still safe at this time, I think.
And as I said on Twitter, it's still just a tool. The ideas, the original idea, the words are still in our heads, so they're ours. We just have to guide the AI and in the direction to go. And we're inspired with these ideas. We're just using Chat GPT or Midjourney or whatever to expand on our inspiration.
There is a flip side to all this, though. There is a flip side, and it's not content creator related. And I think it was actually Keegas that was telling me about this, because he works in the education sphere, and he was saying a big problem that they've got at the moment. Students are going onto this program and saying, write me an assignment or whatever they call it over there, and it's throwing out B+/A- quality things, and they're running it through their checks to do like plagiarism, and it's coming up as all clear. So
really,
yeah,
that bad.
I'm sure. Keegas, if you
where
were
was that when I was at school?
I said the exact same thing. So you know, there's a flip side to it. Like, we're talking from the content creator thing, but you know, how comforting will it be in like 8 years' time when you've got sitting down with a doctor and you're going, "Did you write your thesis, or did AI write it for you?"
Yeah, you come into the position right now that you need to establish what there's a good and bad AI. I can imagine. Obviously, I think it will be. You can say that whatever human created, it's even if it's created to serve good. As a humans, we can turn around to use it into bad things. And a simple example with AI, you know, people that can be lazy and cheats because it's easier. You've got two different paths in your life. You're either grinding to go in somewhere to achieve something by learning, or you're just skipping it. But then that skipping sometimes helps to go to your target quicker. Stuff like this usually catching up, and you're right. What if you have like a architect who skip his maths or something else, and because of AI help him out, and then it's coming to the point where have to build a house and the whole roof collapsing on you because he didn't calculate it correctly the weight of the materials, you know.
Yeah,
and it is possibility, and I think we're right now in a sort of like age of this. I still consider myself maybe not the youngest generation, but the generation that are actually growing up with computers that they were developing to the point that you can do something. I remember being teenagers making a website using CC Plus or something, and you know all of the first coding and stuff like that to create a website, create a different stuff. Obviously, and for me then everything was like going so fast. If you didn't catch up, you didn't learn. Literally half a year later, everything changed so much. You didn't know. You know, at the beginning, you were using Flash for all of the animations and stuff like that. That's changed, and obviously, I'm guessing AI helping with that to progress this. And now we get into the point that the younger people, the younger generation, they've just been given that, and it's easier to use. You not appreciate to having actually to stuff being done, created for yourself. and it's easier to go. And even with YouTube creation, TikTok creation, Twitch. No, Twitch might be different. You have to put yourself physically there to be there to do that. But then, would you also not say, if you're using your avatar with the speech and stuff, is that not AI trying to recreate in your movements into your animated avatar? Because there's a line between it is actually just a software, or is the avatar just to try to catch it up and to recreate this? And obviously, people getting, I'm not gonna lie. If someone will give me now tools saying like, listen, that AI generator will give you right answers to your next episode, to your next content and stuff like that, I'll be like, yeah, bring it on. I'll do it. And each of us will do that, because at the end of the day, I know as our human nature, you will try to tweak it into your style, to your thing and stuff like that. But still, it's a useful tool. That it's a question how we will use it, right or wrong.
That's a really good point. And that's sort of, I guess, heralding back to what I said at the start, even before we got into the AI thing, schematics, people going and stealing them and using them as passing off their own builds. So you're right. Anything that is created with good intentions is going to be misused in some way by someone for their own benefit.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
So do we not pursue that just for that sake, or do we just accept that is going to happen and try not to support those people?
I love what you said. Like, what do we do? Because at the end of the day, it's, if you will turn around now and says like, "Nah, I'm not using this," you can't do anything. You just stop. You just go sit down on your sofa, turn on put the fire on. Don't even switch your TV, because your AI might can recognize what you're watching and start to sending you adverts at the end of the day.
Right.
And you just need to adapt. The world's changing all the time. The computer software is changing. Everything around us changing. We just have to adapt. We need to adapt and just make sure we're using it in the correct way.
Right. And giving, credit where credit is due, and fair use. I kind of wonder, will fair use rules change with this technology as it gets better and better? Will people have to say, this content, or actually have to credit Chat GPT or things like that? Again, I think it would be more of a simple fix to have it watermarked in some way.
Well, then, okay,
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, Troj, about you went through the trouble of doing all these things, and it's still my idea. Or you're talking about your content versus Bob's content.
Oh yeah. Well, if I can use a hammer better than the guy next door, and I can build a better house, great for me. But we've both used the hammer.
And we're talking about bringing back to the watermark and stuff. You can put the watermark on the art and stuff. Yeah, you can. But how often? But there's different types of AI everywhere, and you can't put a watermark on everything. And this is a problem. We shouldn't be, because it will come to the point that some people, and I know this is our human nature. The world will split into opinions of either use it or be shamed of using it, and it come to the point that people will be shocked. Like you've done your intro, it was fantastic, and we're like, hey, great job. But you know what you did? You straight like, I didn't do it. The AI did it for me, which is great, and you're open about this. But there will be people who will be trying to take that credit, and then you're right. There's a coming to the point that we have to credit it that it's AI did this, but there's no possible, because you can just lie. You can. Who will prove you that you actually whatever you're doing, all your content, you're being content creator. You've got a YouTube has got these fantastic ideas on all of the videos. I'm not saying Minecraft, anything, podcasting, whatever. No one will be able to prove it that it actually is your idea. Or if someone actually then find fantastic idea and did something that would be great, people can turn around and say like, oh yeah, AI gave it to you. Because I've typed a very similar thing and it popped in a very similar idea. And this is a very fine line, and I think we will have to learn this to how to deal around and not maybe overthinking sometimes.
Right, because I have seen really good artists post works of art on Twitter, and because of this AI thing, and people are calling them out saying, yeah, that was AI created. That's not you. That's not you. True artists are having to defend themselves, saying, no, I spent like 100 hours on this piece of art. This is 100% me. So you've got real actual artists trying to defend themselves and this is 100% my original work.
I think that's a bigger problem than, people coming along trying to use it for their own benefit. I think that's a bigger problem, that, you're getting people that do spend all that time, whether it's a content created video or a piece of artwork, and then people start doubting that it's legitimate. I think that's a bigger problem to worry about, to be completely honest.
Yeah, I think from all of the AI thing, I think the biggest issue, as you said, and I agree with you, it's that it will make people who are actually talented to be more demotivated to actually do that. It's not even that you cannot compete, because you can still compete, you can still do good, but actually to later on sit there and be like, oh, you didn't do it, and to try to defend you something that you're doing. Most of the people, if you're doing any sort of art, you're doing any sort of creation, you're doing it because you love it. You're not doing this to people doing it for money and stuff like that. But most of the times, if you're doing something like that for money, you're also doing this for your pleasure, because you love it. You will never do that. If you're not the problem will be you have to start to defending it, and it will just take your motivation off you, and you'll just be like, oh, what's the point? What's the point even to try it? What's the point even to, at the end of the day, if you're doing something and you're putting it on your social medias, you do this for recognition. And if that recognition is not coming there, and you start to getting some sort of backlash of oh no, you not did it, or you didn't do it, you could not do this, you kind of start doubting yourself and think like, yeah, you know what, what's the point to even do that?
But again, I guess when you're talking, say, a Minecraft build, for example, sometimes people will put stuff up, like Spaghetti was years ago, someone would steal their photos, pictures, and put them up, and then they'd come along and post their own thing and be told that, oh, that's not yours. So that's not an exclusive problem to AI. And it comes back
that's very true, yeah.
And that comes back to what you were saying before, Cubsy, is if someone's going to create it, another human's going to take it and use it the wrong way. Doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, of course, because this is now a human nature.
Exactly.
Just if you can't do it something yourself, you just put down someone else next to you who's doing it better, because thinking like, if you're this is not a problem. And it's the internet trolls, they all over everywhere. Whatever you will do in your life, if you're doing something right, you could go ahead and you can think like, if you not have enemies in your life and someone does not criticize you, you're doing something wrong.
Correct.
And that's the best way to think about it, because there will be someone there who don't like it because you're doing something right.
There's always going to be tools that will that people use it properly, and then there are people that will just abuse it and use it in proper ways. So
with AI, I think it's a great tool, and we should be using it because it's there and it will be there. It's not like it will disappear. And
right.
And I think what we as this age people, this time of the people who growing with the AI, because it's not perfect yet, it's still growing with us, how we learning. And I think what we need to make sure do, and they will be perfect, everyone would do, but obviously life's not perfect. It's to people advertise in the correct way, and to be sold the right way, explain right way, to people not do it just partially and then being disappointed with it, blaming it, and then looking for any excuses to show it is wrong. Just to find the positives of it and try to elevate them instead just showing up the bad things. And I think the biggest example is that the TikToks and the short videos, when you're going with coming back to the art, when you seen them typing literally this couple words and it's coming with such a beautiful things and stuff, when it's such a full advertising, and you get someone after that who tried to do it himself, you come into it, type 2-3 words, and it's like literally nothing like what they've seen before. And they start to question it, they start to thinking it's actually a bad thing, it doesn't work, doesn't believe. And when the people come in, they start to, and I think it's like, it's the spiral, it's like domino effect, where they come into the point that was like, no, it's impossible. It's, and start to criticize it, into the point that it starts to be negative. And I don't think it should be negative. It should be used very positive.
Yeah, I think it'll become less prevalent, particularly in I'll narrow my comment through to the content creative sphere. It'll become less prevalent when they start charging people to use it.
True.
And I think they already are. They already are.
But not much enough. It should be straight in, I think, because I know where they're coming from, because they want to attract as many people as possible to get it. It's creating these two different types of people people who actually love it and people who will be very negative about this and will have nothing, will be criticizing on any sort of, and even it will start to eventually criticize people who are using them, which is not something that we need. And but I completely agree. As soon as they'll start charging and people will try to treat this professionally and learn to use it because they're paying for it, it will actually, it will start to show in a much better effect.
Yeah, correct. So they are using, like, asking people to pay for that, Minor?
The one right now, Chat GPT, is currently free. Sometimes I've had problems getting into it because a lot of people are using it. So I'll just say system is full.
See, they'd be keeping it free at the moment to get as many people in it, so it can increase its learning, the speed at which it learns. Because everyone that put stuff in there, it's learning from that.
But the original, before Chat GPT, there was GPT-3. Now, if you go on there and you're using it for commercial use, you're going to pay. I just barely tried it just before this podcast, and it said session expired. I hadn't even used it before, but for some reason it wouldn't let me. And then there's other things. There are other AI art programs out there that you only get so many credits per day, you can only do so many inputs per day, and then you have to come back the next day to get so many, or you can pay for more credits. So that's how they're trying to monetize this.
But those people that are using it at the moment, let's say incorrectly, like the Chat GPT, the minute they start charging for that problem goes away for the most part.
Yeah, that's true. And that would be the best thing ever, because at the end of the day, it will stop that wrong usage of it, but then you will find that people find a different reason to complain and be negative, that they have to pay for it. And it's always like that. But it's with everything. And eventually, humans don't like change. And as soon as something changes, you have to pay and stuff like that. They start to complain, this is wrong, this is wrong. But eventually we forget it and we're getting used to it. And I think it's kind of like is the thing that we need to go through, and we just need to be patient to get to the point that AI is actually really good. Maybe then we'll be too late and will they take over all humanity, which we'll see.
That was funny. I saw someone posted I think it was a Dilbert cartoon today on Twitter, and someone had asked ChatGPT, "What are humans?" And the first response was, "Humans are meat that eat other meat," and the second one was, "Also an adequate organic power source." I was like,
oh wow.
Oh boy.
Interesting. Yeah, here we go.
Matrix started.
Yeah. I also asked it to write me some titles.
Oh, here we go.
Nice.
Number 1, AI creators leveraging artificial intelligence for YouTube content. The future of YouTube, how AI is changing the game.
Oh, nice. I like that.
That
that's very catchy.
Yeah.
Clickbait, definitely.
Creating with code, a look into using artificial intelligence for YouTube content creation. It's coming up with some good ones.
Yeah.
Here's one. Smart content, a podcast on the use of artificial intelligence in YouTube video creation.
Well, just to say, because obviously I didn't use that for a very long time. Is that coming from ChatGPT?
Yes.
And then what did you just literally ask it to write some titles for your? How did you come across that? How difficult it was to get that?
Write me podcast title ideas talking about the use of AI for content creation on YouTube. The last one I really like. AI creativity, exploring the use of artificial intelligence on YouTube content production.
That's good.
I like that one. That might be the title of this podcast.
There you go.
Be careful,
Minor. One thing that we swear to defeat,
Minor, be very careful. I may replace you in the podcast with Chat GPT if you're not careful.
At least it won't need coffee.
It comes pre-scripted.
That's for sure.
It comes pre-scripted.
And then I've got the outro, if we want to include that.
Go for it.
Yeah, of course.
Go for it.
Okay, so thank you again for tuning into Minecraft Lab. We hope you have enjoyed the episode and found it helpful. If you have any feedback or suggestions for future episodes, please visit our website at minecraftlabpodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget to join us next time for Minecraft tips and tricks. Have a great day and happy building. Oh, that was AI also. Yeah, I just barely wrote that. No, I didn't write it. ChatGPT wrote that.
Yeah, you can always say it's you still, because you can say that you told the AI to do it, which technically you kind of like between you actually there, you know.
And you still had to throw in the right words to make it actually fit. So
There you
Yes,
go.
I did. Yes, I
There
did.
you go. You've put yourself. It's well done, Miner. You did that.
good job. Proud of you.
Well, this has been Minecraft Lab, and this is just me off the top of my head, which sometimes doesn't work very good. Thank you for joining us. I've been Minor Thoughts, and we've had the Trojan, awesome guest Cubsy. Loved your input.
Cubsy,
on
take,
this-
Anytime.
this
Cubsy, take the
subject.
opportunity to tell the listeners where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me, to be fair. I'll do some self-advertising right now here. You can find me on Twitch and on YouTube. Technically, you've got two channels on YouTube. One is called Cubsy, and the other one is Blind Cubsy. And obviously, I'm streaming every single week, twice a week, Tuesday and Thursday on Twitch. But mainly, you can find me in Discord, on our interim Discord, which I'm pretty sure you'll find the link down below in the comments.
Cubsy, thank you for joining us. I know it was very last second, but thank you for joining
No
us.
pleasure. You can call me anytime, and I'll be there.
Count on that. And Miner, obviously always a pleasure talking to you, having your input.
Yeah, I mean, well, sometimes
He's
Sometimes I
writing
can't-
new script. That's what it is.
Yeah,
He's like two
sometimes
folks
I-
like, yeah.
Yeah.
Next
Sometimes I
episode.
can't think
Next
straight.
time on Interrupts.
sometimes I can't think straight without the influence of coffee. So I've got ChatGPT now.
Who said AI was not useful?
Right.
Yeah.
Still requires coffee.